Hi, I'm Paul Skeldon, one of the editors at Internet Retailing, and we recently, in conjunction with Barclaycard, undertook producing a white paper about the need for retailers to change their sort of culture to be more focused on customer service, because the customer really sort of is front and centre driving omni-channel businesses. And I'm joined today by Anita Liu Harvey, Strategy Director at Barclaycard, who helped me greatly actually in the writing of the white paper. What in your view are these sort of services that are going to sort of shift culturally within retailers?
Well, what I think is really interesting is that consumers today are becoming increasingly demanding, and what they really want are very personalised and seamless shopping experiences. And what this means for retail is that it's less about the actual transaction that takes place at the end, but it's more about the overall retail experience. And as a result, the service that retailers provide is critical to making this a reality.
What sort of things does that involve?
So if we think about the digital world and what that means, people are, mobile phones are the remote controls of people's lives these days, and I think most retailers now really sort of put a lot of emphasis on having an app, and with that app they can actually help provide a great shopping experience, so help those consumers to research and find the items that they may be interested in buying, and then help them make that purchasing decision. So Heels is one of the companies that we have featured in our white paper. And they use online web chat. So their sales consultants will actually engage with consumers and help them decide on whether they want to buy an item and provide any information that they may not be able to find otherwise. So that's another example of how you can actually start to drive personalisation and to really sort of drive brand engagement as well.
What about sort of the payment side of things? Because that's the sort of biggest sort of probably the biggest pain point in retail, online, offline. What's sort of happening with that, and where does that fit into sort of customer service culture?
I couldn't agree more. I think we'll all agree that payments is a necessary evil. Shopping is about finding an item you want and taking it home with you. I think with all of the advent of new technology, from our perspective at Barclaycard, we're really focused on making payments disappear altogether from the customer journey. And click and collect is actually a classic example of this, and I think it's really sort of the one that's taken off. If you find an item you want to buy online, let more than half of us prefer to buy that online and then just simply go to the store to pick it up. That's an example of paying for an item before you've actually stepped foot in the store, and now there are other ways that you can actually pay later. So it's really making that entire shopping experience as seamless and as enjoyable as possible.
Part of this sort of change in sort of culture around service and in payments as well sort of involves the staff in stores. You've touched on how Heels uses its staff to help service sort of live chat customer service, but what sort of things are sort of impacting the sort of staff side of businesses, and where can technology help with that?
So we've just talked about how we're doing. There's a lot of initiatives out there to take payments out of the store environment or to make them as integrated as possible. And what does that mean in terms of staff who are actually in the stores? It means they can actually focus on the other parts of customer service rather than just making sure that the payment takes place. And I think the opportunity and the challenge for retailers now is to make sure that they invest in the staff, that they train them, make sure they're as knowledgeable as possible on the products and services that they're providing. Again, Holland Barrett is another brand that we feature in our white paper, and they put their staff through quite an intensive academy process to make sure that they're all highly knowledgeable on the products that they're selling. And I think really the shift has to happen in terms of retailers' mindset. Staff in the stores are not there to take the payment. They are effectively brand ambassadors. They are as integral to the brand experience and the shopping experience as anything else in that store.
What about sort of the other way? What sort of changes are afoot, and how can it be made to work so that the sort of the online side of things can also be involved in this customer service culture shift?
So I think if we just look at online as a shopping channel alone, I think many of the principles that apply in store can also apply online. So first and foremost, you need to make it easy for consumers to find your product. So make sure you have a great website design, offer them web chat assistance where possible. Once they've found those items, you need to consult with them, you need to engage them and help them reach that purchase decision. So again, we've already talked about web chat facilities, but I've seen some stores actually use and websites use augmented reality. So if you want to buy a sofa, let's try and visualize what that will look like in your living room, for example, before you actually press the buy button. And then obviously it's the same pain points exist around payments. Once you found the item you want, you simply want to check out and receive it as soon as possible. So there's a real focus on really sort of seamless, integrated, one-click payment processes.
I must admit, I've got so used to sort of tapping my card in stores. I almost want to do that now when I'm shopping online as well. So maybe one day I can do that. One last sort of point. All this is great, and there's a recognised need, as our research in the white paper shows, for a cultural shift within retailers to have this sort of service-led idea. How do you sort of persuade the man at the top, the people driving these companies, that this needs to happen?
We have to really sort of help them understand that this is the future, and really there's no such thing as online and in-store anymore. That's not how the customer sees it. So if you ask a shopper, did you buy that pair of shoes online or in store? I think the answer they'll probably give you is, I don't know. I simply went shopping, because they could have been browsing on their mobile app, found the pair of shoes that they liked. On the app, they may have click and collect, and then they may have gone in store to actually buy it. And once they're in the store, they might find out actually it's the wrong size. So they may have ordered another size, which was then delivered to their home. Now, was that an e-commerce transaction or was it an in-store transaction? I don't think it really matters. I think ultimately what retailers need to do is understand that what shoppers want is multiple touch points with their brands, but a single seamless shopping journey.
Excellent. Well, it's been really interesting. Thank you for that, Anita. There's much about what Anita's talked about and more in the white paper that we produced with the help of Barclaycard. There'll be a link below where you can download that. But thank you, Anita, for taking the time to do that, and thank you for watching.